This is my short explanational video on the quadratic formula. So here's a question that we want to solve. We know it's a quadratic equation because it's something involving x squared. Now, these sorts of questions are going to come up on your calculator exam, and the reason that I know this is going to be on my calculator exam is because it wants me to give my answer correct to 3 significant figures, which means that I'm probably going to need to use a calculator somewhere along the way. The quadratic formula is written on the front page of our exam paper, and it looks like this. We've got the quadratic equation. It tells us that the solutions of this equation, ax squared plus bx plus c is 0, where a isn't 0, are given by this complicated formula here. But really, this is just substitution for adults. So all we need to do is to apply this to our equation here. So the first thing I'm going to do is to rewrite my equation. So I've got x squared minus 5x minus 8 equals 0. This must equal 0 for this to work, because in my quadratic equation formula I have ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0 as well. Both of these equal 0, so now I can just go through and work out what each of the letters are. Well, the a's is just how many x squareds I have. How many x squareds do I have here? I've got 1 x squared. My b tells me how many x's I've got. My b is minus 5. Notice that I take the sign with the coefficient. Okay. Now moving on to my c. My c is going to be, again, minus 8. Notice how I'm taking the negatives with me. Now all I need to do is to use these values in this formula. So I know that x will be equal to minus b, so that's going to be minus 5. Now I've got this funny little symbol that we might not have seen before, and we'll come back and we'll explain that in a second, but it's a plus minus. And then I want the square root of. I need to do b squared, which is minus 5, squared, and again I'll explain why we've put that in brackets in a second, minus 4. Now when I write numbers next to letters, it means multiplied by, so this is 4 times a times c. So I want 4 times my a value times my c value. And I need to then divide this by 2a. 2 times 1. Now there are a couple of things that I said that I'd explain. At this point, we don't need to work this out in our heads. It's going to be on our calculator paper, so we will type it into our calculator. Because we're using a calculator, we need to make sure that we use it properly, and our calculator is prone to making mistakes, so I want to always put my b in brackets. Okay, don't worry about the fact that here we've got brackets in different places. You are always going to put your brackets just around your b. Your calculator will sort out the rest. Now notice that I've got 2 spaces for solutions, which is what I should expect because I've got a quadratic equation, meaning that I will always get 2 solutions. This plus minus symbol means that I need to do the whole equation with this as a plus, get an answer, and then go back and do the whole equation again with this as a minus, and then find my answer. Now if I do this with a plus, the answer that I come out with in the end is 6.2749 something or other. And then if I go back and I do this with a minus, the answer I get this time is going to be minus 1.2749. Now my question said I had to give my answers to 3 significant figures. So I count 1, 2, 3 significant figures. 4 says stay the same, so here's my first answer, 6.27. 3 significant figures, 1, 2, 3. 4 says stay the same, so here's my other answer, minus 1.27. And that is it. It really is just substitution for adults. We've got a complicated formula, but once we've worked out what the a is, what the b is and what the c is, we can just substitute these numbers into that complicated equation. I go through once using plus, find my answer, once using minus, find my answer, and then round my answers as the question has asked me to. Thanks for watching. Please head to my website and you can get some practice at that.